If you ever said, I know what to do, I'm just not doing it, then this video is for you. What if I told you your self-sabotage isn't laziness, it's not about a lack of willpower, and there's actually nothing wrong with your brain? It's actually a trauma response, and the harder you try to fix it with discipline or trying to force yourself to be different, the more stuck you're gonna feel. According to trauma expert Dr. Gabor Maté, self-sabotage is a survival strategy, one that you developed in childhood to stay emotionally safe. And it's not a character flaw. Self-sabotage is a subconscious attempt at self-protection. The behaviors that you're struggling with today, they once protected you as a child. Self-sabotage is actually something your brain learned to help you adapt to and survive your early childhood trauma. When children grow up in environments that lack emotional attunement, safety, or connection, they learn to suppress who they really are just to preserve the attachment to their caregivers. You see, children depend on that attachment to survive. So they'll do anything. They'll do whatever it takes to keep their parents close, even if it means abandoning themselves in the process. They'll change who they are to make their parents happy so that the parents will want them around. Gabor Maté says that trauma isn't what happened to you. It's what happened inside of you as a result. It's the meaning your brain made of the traumatic event. And that meaning is what gets stored into your subconscious mind, and then later it looks like self-sabotage. You see, when a child is emotionally neglected, shamed, rejected, or punished, they don't stop loving the parent. They don't say, hey, there's something wrong with mom or dad. Instead, they point the finger at themselves. They think, there must be something wrong with me. That's why mom and dad are acting that way. And that's the root of shame. I am what's wrong. And while it sounds painful, it's actually a brilliant maneuver by the brain. Because if the child sees themselves as what's wrong, then they have hope that they can fix it and get it right. So what do children do? They end up changing who they are to please their parents. Let me give you an example. Mom is in the kitchen, completely overwhelmed, and she's stressed out. She's stressed out about her relationship. She doesn't feel supported by her partner. She's working a full-time job while caring for 3 kids. And her 3-year-old walks in and innocently says, Mommy, I'm hungry. But the mom, maxed out, exhausted, and running on fumes, snaps and says, go make yourself a sandwich and stop bothering me. The child ends up feeling scared and disconnected, and their little brain starts to connect the dots. It goes, if I ask for what I need, I lose connection with mommy. Bam, new neural pathway in the brain. So the brain stores that as a belief in the subconscious mind to help that child survive. They adapt to the trauma by suppressing their needs and learning not to speak up, all in an effort to maintain connection. So why does this happen? This happens because the prefrontal cortex of the child, the logical thinking part, it hasn't developed yet. So the child can't see and understand the full picture. They don't understand that mom's stressed out beyond her limit. They don't understand that mom's not being supported by the dad. And they don't understand that mom's emotional state has nothing to do with them as a child. All the child knows is, I did something wrong. I'm too much. I shouldn't ask for things. You know, even in loving homes, unconscious trauma gets passed down when caregivers are emotionally unavailable, when they're disconnected, and even when they're overwhelmed. So what does the child do? They adapt. They find ways to keep the love, to stay safe, and to avoid being a burden. And later in life, those adaptations show up as self-sabotaging behaviors. Whether it's people-pleasing, workaholism, emotional repression, playing small, not speaking up, procrastinating, or addiction. These coping strategies are ways to maintain attachment and soothe their inner pain. Even addiction. When you look at addiction, it makes sense when you look at it at a deeper level. It's because it's not about the substance or the behavior. It's about meeting an unmet need from childhood. Addiction is often just an addiction to relief from the wounds we haven't healed yet. Let's go ahead and explore a few examples so that this can make more sense. If we look at procrastination, if you were only celebrated when you were perfect or high performing, you may have developed a deep fear of failure or even success. So now as an adult, you delay starting things because if you don't try, you can't fail or disappoint anyone. So if we look at people-pleasing, this is a survival strategy that's rooted in the subconscious mind to avoid conflict and to stay safe. Maybe one of your parents was emotionally volatile or codependent. So your little brain learned early on, if I make them happy, I'll stay safe. So you adapted, putting everyone else's needs first, and now you keep saying yes at work and in your relationships until you're burnt out, anxious, and resentful. Let's look at workaholism. I know this one very well. If your worth was tied to how much you accomplished, you might believe you have to earn love or safety through nonstop doing. And resting, I doubt that you do it because your nervous system most likely doesn't feel safe resting. And stillness feels like you are not doing enough. And I bet you sitting there and trying to meditate, well, that's probably a little tricky for you. You might actually enjoy a more active meditation like yoga. So let's look at playing small or just not even speaking up. If expressing your needs got you punished in your household or shamed or ignored, you learned to shut them down. Now as an adult, it shows up in your business. You undercharge, avoid visibility, and don't even trust your gut instincts. Let's look at being too nice. Many chronic illnesses are linked to people who are just too nice. The ones who never said no, the fixers, the responsible ones, the ones who repressed their anger and believed they had to be perfect in order to be loved. They are the ones who will do anything to keep the peace, even if it means destroying their health in the process. Let me know in the comments down below which of these self-sabotaging behaviors are you experiencing. So if you've been sabotaging your success, your relationships, or even your health, it's not because there's something wrong with you. It's just how your brain adapted to the trauma that you survived. And guess where this trauma lives? In your subconscious mind, quietly influencing how you think, feel, behave, and interact with your reality. But please remember that you are not broken. You are simply running outdated programs downloaded when you were a child. And the good news is that with the right help, you can update this outdated programming. You can change this. You can be free of self-sabotage, and this is exactly what I help people do. If you're serious about ending your self-sabotaging patterns, I want to gift you a complimentary 15-minute Zoom call with me. The link is in the description below. Snag it while it's available because it will not be around forever.